Ladies and gentlemen, online and offline, welcome to Gems on the Air. In our previous episode, we talked about vision, and today we will be talking about the imperfect beauty. My name is James. And actually, after the previous airing of previous program, I got a lot of feedbacks, and I believe for today's episode, you will have a whole bunch of questions you would like to get answered from the doctors here. Speaking of plastic surgery, people think about Korea, but actually Taiwan is also a very well-known country in the world where the skills and technology in plastic surgery exceeds. And actually, we have more than 3,000 overseas doctors being trained here in Taiwan, even from Korea. More than 200 plastic surgeons receive their training in Taiwan. So today, we are very honored to have Dr. Yu Rui Chen to be our guest today. Dr. Chen is now a professor of surgery at Chang'e Medical Foundation. He has served as chair at the International Society of Craniofacial Surgery, chairman of Chang'e Steering Committee, and superintendent at Chang'e Memorial Hospital. Chang'e Craniofacial Center, under his leadership, is now one of the top training institutes for craniofacial surgery, making great contribution to the development of plastic surgery, craniofacial surgery in Taiwan and the world. A skilled surgeon, Dr. Chen heals the children with care and patience, supporting them with the challenging times in their lives to embrace a new beginning of life. Now let's welcome Dr. Chen. Another speaker, another distinguished doctor here, Dr. Wu. You see a lot of overseas visitors when they come to Taiwan, they are buying lots of souvenirs, pineapple cake, and also tea egg, and now, of course, Dr. Wu's skincare series. This is Dr. Wu. He is a pioneer in skin immunity, and he is the father of aesthetic medicine. And from a clinical surgeon perspective, actually, his group has been recognized and has received investment from LVMH. So let's welcome Dr. Wu Yingjun. He's really a legend of the aesthetic medicine in Taiwan. Hi, everyone. Yes, indeed. We have these two legendary doctors here. Indeed, this is a wonderful program. A Greek philosopher said beautiful things are difficult. That's Socrates. And beauty is a natural superiority. That's Plato. Personally, I think it's tangible, but at the same time intangible. And sometimes it's subjective. It could be objective. You are affected, you are influenced by the outer external judgment. But sometimes it's all about you. So my first question will be, what is beauty? Please define beauty based on your years of experiences. Thank you, James. Since I'm a plastic surgeon, we look at the beauty of the face. And in our definition, in the evolution of humankind, we look at first symmetry. That means the creature, the animal is healthy and also attractive. That means it's balanced. And the second feature will be averages, meaning that it's not too big, not too small, it's aligned. Averageness. And according to past researchers, an average face, for example, if it's a picture merged from tens or even hundreds of pictures, actually it's more beautiful than average. That's what we consider beautiful. And you can see whether it's Caucasian, it's African people, or Asian people. If you look at these people, we have pictures merged into one, and that's average beauty, and it's really beautiful. And also, we look at proportion. For example, the width of the face should be, for example, 5 eyes. And if you look at Zhi Linglin, that's a really popular, well-known actress in Taiwan. She's beautiful. So a good proportion that would bring sense of beauty. And when you are with a beautiful company, for example, a beautiful woman, and you feel like you are more noble, you're happier. And since childhood, these values of aesthetics have been a powerful influence. For example, the beautiful or the handsome people, when they are trying to get a job, they have higher opportunity to be hired. Thank you, Dr. Chen. I think you have defined the aesthetic beauty very clearly, and it's quite precise. And yes, indeed, that's in aesthetic medicine. And for me, I think beautiful is an adjective, beauty is a noun. However, in a wider perspective, from the philosopher's point of view, maybe they have different definition. As I think about this question, anything that can make us feel comfortable, relaxed, happy, joyful, they should be beautiful. So, since we study in school, we study beauty. In school, it covers subjects such as music, art. However, in our lifestyle, we need gourmet. We prefer beautiful people around us. So for the society, beauty is a very important factor for social harmony. From my perspective, as a dermatology expert, I look at the quality of the skin. People say that as long as your skin is quite enough, then it's beautiful. But I would say it's the evenness of complexion. And with a pink, healthy glow, meaning that you have good circulation, and also you have smooth surface. That's beautiful. So very often, the patients who come to our clinics, they look for such quality of skin so that they feel youthful and beautiful. So to define beauty from our professional perspective, that is about the quality of the skin. And as to the appearance or the balance or the proportion, like Dr. Chen mentioned, that's really the other side of the coin. For this topic, I think it's quite popular in the forum, and people talk about it very often because in a society, we often say people look at the appearance and make judgment. So there's a sense of beauty anxiety, as some people say. A German philosopher, Goethe, once said, beauty is only skin deep, and it's only shallow, and it's only one. It doesn't really last. However, if you're beautiful in your mind and the beauty comes from within, then you can last forever. So, dear doctors here, what do you think about this? Beauty from within. Well, it sounds like yes, there is an anxiety. It's that people are not willing to recognize or admit that they look at the visible beauty. But I would say yes, people would agree. The internal beauty comes within. That's very important. But it means, okay, you have to stay innocent, unpolluted. But the visible beauty or the tangible beauty, so to speak, it does bring anxiety to people because now we have accelerated lifestyle. We are living a faster life. So you have to judge people by their appearance. For example, for those salarymen or salarywomen, actually you can tell how much salary they have, based on their appearance. So if you have visited Dr. Chen and you're balanced and have a well-proportioned face, of course, you might have salary doubled. And for me, yeah, maybe the same, 50% more. So with a beautiful or handsome face, yes, people say it's shallow, but skin deep for us, that is, well, deep enough since we are dermatologists. However, making people beautiful for us is still a big contribution to society because feeling beautiful, feeling handsome means that person is more confident so that he or she would have more positive energy, bringing more contribution to the world. For example, in Japan, when we visit department stores, the elevator ladies, they would bow to the elevators. And maybe at the first or the second time seeing it, I feel weird. It's like there's no one in the elevator. They still have to bow, showing their respect to the guests. I think that's the same for many industry. For example, lots of in the service industry, if you shout out the slogan of "Welcome, sincerely welcome you," I mean, even though there's no guest, but you are trained to have this attitude. So beauty, that's the same. I think whether it's from outside, inside, within or within, from within or from the surface, that's the same. And for me, this is Dr. Chen. Clinical speaking, I encounter very different scenarios. I mean, people have longer chins. I mean, these patients, they will say, no, I don't care. But actually for others, they may have different first impressions. And they may have some judgment. For example, people may ask these people, how come you have a disproportionate jaw, that it's not in the right shape? And so these features become stigmas to them, and they will lower their confidence. However, after, for example, orthognathic surgery, they become more handsome, more beautiful, and actually their attitude would change. But I always remind these patients, I mean, even if you become more handsome or more beautiful, it doesn't guarantee a success of your life. Your face may have, I mean, a more handsome, more beautiful face may have better first impression. But then once you start conversation, once you start getting along with other people, that's another story. And for someone who is loved, liked, that requires some qualities such as you are helpful, you are cheerful, you're good to your friends and colleagues, etc. These are the characteristics that will make your life better. So that's how I always remind my patients that with plastic surgery, we can change your face a bit, maybe contours or more three-dimensional features, but it's all about you inside, how you make others feel.
I think you just provided us with comprehensive interpretation of beauty, inner beauty, outer beauty, and the overall elegance and presentation of a person. At Tetra, for a long time, we've been promoting international medicines, and craniofacial reconstruction is one of our key area. Also, aesthetic medicine is one of the highlights of our international promotion of Taiwan medical care. So I want to ask our two doctors. So these two areas, aesthetic medicine and craniofacial reconstruction, people have stereotypes or bias or misunderstanding regarding these areas. So who needs aesthetic medicine and who needs plastic surgery? Can you share with us from your professional perspective so that our audience can understand better? Okay, first of all, based on what I said, structurally speaking, because your framework, your structure, determines whether your face is symmetric, determines your proportion. So obviously, if it's natural-born features or you get injured later on, that deformed your structure, and obviously you need surgery. You need to correct your structure so that on the outside you'll improve your appearance. So perhaps you have scars, you have malocclusion, or some kind of facial deformation. People will have wrong impressions of you, and that's when you need craniofacial reconstruction, because you want to make your appearance look more normal or more appealing. So that's my recommendation. But if it's just your eyelid or just a bigger nose, that's just icing on the top, icing on the cake. Obviously, that's just a bonus. and a lot of the plastic surgeons are working in this area. So I recommend you that you inquire with a doctor. Just as for people with scars on their face or acne, you can just go to a dermatologist. You can just go get laser and so on. You have different treatments in both areas. So this is my recommendation. Dr. Wu, you can see we have plastic surgeon leaving us lots of business because we actually deal with 90% of the problems and they look at the rest 10%. Because if you don't have a problem, you come to us because you want to make improvement. And if you have a problem, you go to plastic surgery. So if you take good care of your skin, you take good care of your body, you can sustain your youth and beauty for a longer period. So for aesthetic medicine and plastic surgery, we are not in conflict. We are actually complementary. For example, it's like building a house. They are structural engineers, and we are architects and interior designers. So I think for us, we have to aesthetic medicine is to decorate the house. Some of the doctors in aesthetic medicine, we started with dermatology, and so we start from details. And for them, the plastic surgeons, they look at the entire structure. Because we all have our own areas, but we can help each other and complement each other. In Taiwan, plastic surgery and aesthetic medicine, I think we complement each other quite well. And so it's unlike other countries or other markets. We have a lot of chance to work together. So we are not in conflict. Okay, so wow. That's a great analogy. Structural engineers and interior designer. So when you put two together, you have a sturdy, strong, and beautiful building. And understand that many foreign doctors come to Taiwan to study plastic surgery techniques. So I want to ask Dr. Chen, what's our competitiveness and what's our feature? And I also know that the water park explosion incident, our plastic surgeons played a very important role. So can you share with us your experience back then? Okay, so let me share first about our strength, our competitiveness. It's because we have a very long period of training. Usually it requires 6 years after you graduate medical school. And then you can be a practicing plastic surgeon. So regarding what I said, the structural issues or microscopy, we have extensive training. And in addition to the craniofacial reconstruction, we also have other areas. For example, the neurology and nerves. We have all the training in those areas. As for the water park explosion incident, I think it was a great disaster that shocked every one of us, especially in the medical community. So it was about 8 o'clock in the evening. They were spraying color powders, and we had this dust explosion. And we have a few hundred people who got injured and burned. And because we were all very experienced and expertise, so we distributed all the patients to the different hospitals. And our Ministry of Health and Welfare, they established a task force involving doctors from different areas trying to help all these people. So we mobilized the entire medical community and we put great investment into this incident. We have all the supplies and goods. And all the doctors, they returned to the big hospitals to help these people. It was a severe incident because over 44%, we have so many people with over 44% burns. And if we don't take good care of them, eventually over 100 will die. But because we mobilized, we only lost 15 lives. So we reduce, and for people with over 90% burn, the mortality rate is 77%, but we only had 2. And so it was because we all worked together and we had extensive training and we got all departments working together. But then afterwards, you see these burn patients, they have all these scars. We still have to do some reconstructive surgeries. And these are quite difficult surgeries. But because you have, for example, you have burn on your arm and you have the scar, and because of the scar tissue, you cannot move your elbow. So you have to reconstruct, you have to carry out reconstruction so that they will be able to move their arms again, and so on. So even though it was a very unfortunate incident, but luckily we were able to work together to demonstrate our prowess. And obviously we didn't hope for it to happen, but we were quite proud that we were able to minimize the damage. Yes, that was quite impressive. I think compared to other countries, I think Taiwanese doctors are renowned for their skills and knowledge, and we are proud about that. As for Dr. Wu, I understand that a lot of people, visitors coming to Taiwan, they will make use of the time to visit a aesthetic doctor. And what do you think about our quality of medical service compared to other countries? Perhaps if they undergo treatment here in Taiwan, will they have problems taking care after they return to their country? And what are the treatments they usually get in Taiwan? Okay, first of all, why do they come to Taiwan for treatments? Because over the past few years, we are getting more and more foreign visitors. And so sometimes we'll ask them, why Taiwan? And so I have this formula I want to share with you. Because right now with the pandemic, when consumers, they look for these specific things. First of all, they look at the cost efficiency. But I think it's just if one thing is cost effective, it's not enough. You need to look at cost and quality ratio. So you have to compare. For example, if you come from Hong Kong, you have to compare the quality in Hong Kong and in Taiwan. Okay, so next, I have the boards here. Okay, so quality. Well, quality includes our skills. And for plastic surgery, obviously, skills are very important. As for aesthetic medicine, you need to consider more factors. For example, you have to have the facilities, equipment, and our service, and your whether we are trustworthy, and our brand image. So you put all these together, you can come out with a score of quality. And also for plastic surgery, you need follow-up for up to 12 years. And for aesthetic medicine, the follow-up period is 10 years. But you still need a lot of expertise going into these areas. Obviously, the doctors in Taiwan, they are very professional. They are very well trained. So skill-wise, and we have always been the global leader. As for the environment, our service, I think we are quite proud that we worry about our reputation. We worry about our own health. For example, during the pandemic, everyone put on the mask. We never go on protest in the streets. So I think we care about ourselves and we care about others. We have this mutual respect, and that's why we are able to build a very good brand image. And I'll move on to the next one, cost. The next factor is cost, because a lot of people think, okay, I travel so far away from home, obviously the cost is going to go up. And then you spend longer period, that's more. That's going to cost more. But price-wise, Taiwan is very competitive. I think international speaking, obviously sometimes if you live very far away, you don't necessarily have to come to Taiwan. But in terms of plastic surgery and aesthetic medicine, we compare to other countries because we always go to these international conferences and meeting doctors from other countries. And so we will be able to pass on the knowledge. They don't necessarily have to come this far. So unless there is a great incentive for them to come, so that's again back to quality, cost, and service. And because people consider all these factors, and then they make the decision to come to Taiwan. Also for subsidies in Taiwan, when they come to Taiwan, usually takes a week because you go under the knife and then you need people to care for you and so on. And so obviously you need to work with local doctors. So I think for Taiwan, when we promote international medicine, we will be able to work with doctors in other countries, so they will take care of them after they return to their home country. As for aesthetic medicine, for if we do thermage or if we do ultrasound, well, the interval is every 6 months. Well, obviously they might try to find a time to come to Taiwan. But if it's just a regular facial or massage that they need every week, then obviously they won't come to Taiwan. And so at our clinic, about 20% of our patients come from abroad. But obviously because right now we've locked down the borders, so we don't have any patients from abroad. But once we open up, they are mostly from Southeast Asia and the coastal area of China. We also have people coming from the United States, Australia, and Canada. So obviously, this shows that this brand of Taiwan, the quality of Taiwan, are recognized. Usually, when they come to Taiwan, they prefer 2-day treatments. So when they come here on the Friday and they have the whole weekend for example, ultrasound or thermage, which the effect will last 3 to 6 months. That's why they come to Taiwan. And if the effect only lasts about 1 or 2 weeks, they wouldn't come to Taiwan because it's not cost effective. And obviously, we can use cosmetics. We can sell the products in foreign markets, so they will be able to purchase these products instead. Okay, so because this episode is being live streamed throughout the world, so we have lots of audience members right now watching. And so I think after our doctor's detailed explanation, we will be able to attract more visitors coming to Taiwan for aesthetic medicine and plastic surgery. So I would like to ask on behalf of all the male viewers some questions. In the past, when we talk about aesthetic medicine, the target audience is usually women. And over the past few years, because of K-pop, TV dramas, I think there are more and more men are more concerned with their appearance, and they are in need of these treatments. So my question for you is, what's the percentage of men, and what's the treatments they usually get? Actually, when we talk about plastic surgery, as I mentioned, it's about the structure of your face. So right now, I do a lot of the correction of malocclusion. So sometimes they have deformity, they have about 1/3 of my patients are men. So it's quite a lot. So these the orthognathic surgery, you see a lot of people have suffering from these kind of problems. But even though it's not really a problem health-wise, but people want to look better and they want to, for example, have a better smile to reveal their teeth. So that's why they undergo knife to achieve these goals. So you see more and more men undergoing knife to look better. And another group of people, it's about their body. For example, people want to liposuction or or they want their six-pack and so on, transplant of fat. So we also see a lot of men doing this, and especially after they lose weight, they have saggy skin, and so that's why they also need surgery to remove the excessive skin.
And also for lifting, most of the time when we speak of lifting, it's about women. But nowadays, I'm hearing lots of male patients. They tell me, I want to look younger, 5 years younger, 10 years younger. So it's about 15% to 20% of my patients came to me for lifting. And for sure, everyone, including men, have the right to pursue beauty or handsomeness. Well, for aesthetic medicine, I think male patients take about 20% of all patient number. And for male patients, I think they look for different things. Nowadays, women are more empowered, and more women are taking higher positions. CEOs, presidents, they are under higher pressure, of course. So very often, these women came to us. They are already career women, and they want to stay young, stay pretty. And at the same time, from these male patients, they come to us for better quality of skin. But at the same time, I'm seeing more and more men. They want to look like the idols in the TV drama. So either men or women, I think it's just natural for people to want themselves to be more beautiful or handsome. And this is really part of our social harmony. And indeed, I'm seeing more men in my clinics. And for Taitra, it is our responsibility to promote Taiwanese industries to the world. And from this episode, from our discussion, we are confident that the soft power and also hard power of this aesthetic medicine industry are really powerful. Well, my question to you, Changgang Biotechnology and also Dr. Wu's brand skincare series have been quite popular overseas. And would you like to nominate or share other brands from Taiwan? Indeed, when we developed the skincare series of Dr. Wu, at that time, the circumstances were we want to make something different or something local, because in most of the department stores, there were all these foreign brands. So we focus on low allergy, high effectiveness, no additives, and high performance. That's our mission, our pursuit. So if you look at the beauty products or skincare products, Dr. Wu, now we have skincare beauty, or you can say it's cosmetic skincare. I mean, the purposes now are merged for one product. That means now we are really a pioneer in this aspect, that skincare and beauty are no longer separate. Actually, they are merged. There's not only Dr. Wu, my skincare range, but also Dr. Xie and many others. And that is a good trend. And I'm grateful to Taitra. 5 years ago, you started this new South Smile policy, and Dr. Wu have been expanding market in Southeast Asia, and now we're seeing good feedbacks. And actually, we have established overseas offices there. And I think these beauty products from Taiwan are now well known in other parts of the world. And at the same time, if you look at the devices or cosmetic surgery devices, in Taiwan, I believe we should do better. And I sincerely hope that I can see more made in Taiwan cosmetic surgery devices. And if you look at the functional medicine, a lot of devices or tools I use are made in Taiwan. And I think that means made in Taiwan is now a globally recognized standard. And for plastic surgery, we are adding more made in Taiwan products. As to Dr. Wu and the Chang'e biotechnology products, I think these are beauty from within. Personally, I use a lot of hair care products from Formosa biotechnology, and as you can tell, for men, it's very important to take care of your skin around the head. And for nutritional supplements, I heard from my colleagues, they are recommending good products to one another. For example, there are enzymes from natural beans, and these enzymes are very helpful to our health. And I really like this scalp care product. I've been using it for a long time. And for Forte, it's a brand under Wang Ruiyu, and she's also in charge of Chang'e Foundation, and we are closely related. So in Chang'e, we are now very dedicated in skincare product development. All these are available online, and it's very convenient for overseas consumers. And of course, competition brings progress and evolution. And for me, Dr. Wu, under this brand, we've been developing new range for nutritional supplement for intake. That means you can start your beauty routine within. For example, collagen. This is very good for moisture of the skin. And in Dr. Wu, we found amino acid type collagen. This is a dual collagen protein, and they have smaller molecular weight. They're really helpful. In the past, people think that you can eat some, you can say greasy or fatty food so that you can have more plump skin. However, for example, if you eat the pig knuckles, and actually they produce a lot of fat before you get the collagen. And with this supplement, we can minimize the molecules. So this collagen can be absorbed without digestion in the guts. They can be directly absorbed by the guts. And then it can combine with the blood and be sent over to the skin. So these are so-called, the same protein. They are all collagen. But I think in terms of technology, I think these made in Taiwan products are as advanced and technological as our global competitors. And in addition to aesthetic medicine, these support. Of course, if you want to become more beautiful and handsome, you should drink more water, do some exercise, stay fit, and take some UV care. Of course, these procedures may help, but it's not all. And when we are promoting cosmetic medicine or aesthetic medicine, I think the ideas and the concept are very important. Okay, for example, if you have good skincare concept, you know your skin type, you know how to take care of your skin, and then it'll be easier for you to get healthy skin. And of course, sleep, exercise are also very important. People are familiar with it, but the problem is not about whether you know or not. It's about whether you can take actions or not. So with this nutritional supplement, it's so much easier. You can make sure you have enough intake of the nutrients. And Dr. Chen, I know that recently you just published a book. It's about your experiences with the craniofacial surgery patients. I know that its first edition, the first run, have been sold out, and it's really popular. So my question to Dr. Chen, could you share with us any impressive cases? And when are you going to have another run of the book? Yes, I'm very lucky that in Taiwan, I could have studied this specialty of craniofacial surgery. And in the past 4 decades, I'm very honored to witness the progress and improvement in this craniofacial medicine. So in this book, I tell stories of my patient whom I grew with. For example, there is a congenital malfunction or deformity. Even though he survived, but with this deformity, he was confronted with bullying and all kinds of difficulties at school. And even though he came to a doctor, still with this surgery, he couldn't solve all the problems. And actually, he wanted to study architecture, but his mother asked him to study medicine to pay back to society. And for him, it's really a struggle. He really hates dentists and all medicine, but eventually he became a dentist. And now he has graduated from a dental college in Australia. And now he returned to Taiwan and he became a pedestrian. He became a child dentist, pediatric dentist. And there's another case, a patient who couldn't close his mouth after a trauma. And even though his face was deformed, but actually it's a she was very positive. She believed that she's special and she's the most beautiful girl in the world. And I only later learned that her father pampered her, even though her mother was more strict. She's still very positive. So she got married, and now she's in South Africa. Now she has grandchildren. Even though she suffered from sleep apnea, her chin was deformed, but in the process, thanks to surgery, she is a very active person in society. I think the lesson from the story is that her parents encouraged her and gave her lots of positive energy. And actually, when she was 53, since she was suffering from sleep apnea, we had another surgery, and then we correct her jawline. That is really a very inspiring story. And also there's one patient, even though he had benign bone cancer, but it made his face deformed. So he stayed at home. He was so scared to go out. And at that time, we met that patient thanks to the Sunshine Pharmacy. So we had a discussion and a meeting with the doctors. So it took us 23 hours, for the surgery to reconstruct his face. And also we used 4 rib bones to reconstruct the facial contour. So he started going to school again, and he completed his studies and actually eventually got married. And now he's a father of 2. That is really a long journey. So when I was teaching in school, there is a course called Doctor, Society, and Patients. And the purpose of that course is about how doctors can help the patients confront the society or how to be part of the society when they are confronted. So this patient of mine came to my class and shared his story with the students. And actually one student asked him bluntly, "You don't look handsome. How do you educate your child?" And he said that even though I'm not handsome, but I have good skills and I have good characters, so people like me, and they like me not because of my face. Of course, that's a really inspiring story. And also in the book, I also shared some experiences in my 4 decades of practice. So I think that would be a reference of education to the next generation. And I hope the next generation medical students or doctors can follow our ethics. And Dr. Wu actually is my classmate in medical college. So that I really hope our ideas, our experiences can be shared to the following generation. Indeed, this is a really good story that a lot of people regain their confidence to life. And also congratulations to you, Dr. Wu. I know that the Zhongxiao Center in Taipei City just opened last week. And I know that in Korea, they made cosmetic medicine a very important industry of the country, of the nation. So what is your expectation to the aesthetic medicine in Taiwan?
Okay, so for the new opening, I think in Taiwan or in most Southeast Asian countries, I think aesthetic medicine is quite a matured sector. But if we just look at appearances, I think people will get judgmental about it. I think health is more important. So based on this concept, I decided to establish this center to combine health and aesthetic beauty. So if you want to be healthy, you need to have inner beauty. So we search for some non-invasive equipment for skincare or medical care. Usually, sometimes in the hospitals, these are for treatments. So we have the ECP that helps us to pump the blood throughout our body, so it reduces the burden of our heart. So obviously, with less burden, all your organs will be healthier, and if you are healthier, you look more radiant. So these kind of instruments are locally made in Taiwan. This will help us to maintain our health and look better. And also, if you seek help of plastic surgery, usually these people, they are a little bit, they need some psychological assistance or consulting. Some of them are depressed. So we also have another equipment that help us to enhance our short-term memory and to help us to be more positive and joyous. And in the hospital, we call it the happy machine. It's an ultrasound, and also on our skin, we use a lot of lasers to stimulate regeneration of our skin, and so also we have this kind of laser for our blood. We apply it to our blood. So this is so-called the intravenous laser or irradiation of blood. So this is anti-aging treatment. And a lot of domestic companies, they sought new ways, non-invasive ways, so you can just paste it on your skin. And so we call it the photodynamic therapy. And so these help to boost our inner health. And so I think by combining aesthetic medicine and these more non-invasive treatments, I think this is something we should promote because we are pioneers in this area and leaders of the world. And because these equipments were originally used in the medical community as an invasive treatment. But I've been using this myself. It's non-invasive, and I think I feel healthy, I feel happier. So I think in addition to the outer beauty, I think we should also focus a bit on inner beauty, health, and hopefully we can go with Chairman Huang together to promote these in Southeast Asia or other markets. So once again, thank you, Doctor. But I think now we are going to have a lightning round because we have a lot of questions for our two doctors. So first question for Dr. Wu, what's the risk of aesthetic medicine? Obviously, you will have risk. Even if you are just a pedestrian walking in the streets, you will have risk. But compared to plastic surgery, the risk is not as high. And it's very effective. Also, sensitive skin, dry skin, can you use laser? Yes, of course. but you need professional doctors, professional technicians. In the past, when we have problematic skins, doctor will tell you don't receive any treatments. And if you have healthy skin, we'll tell people, why do you need aesthetic medicine? But even if you have problematic skin, we have treatments for you. Because even if you have other illness, you still have to take care of the health of your skin, right? So right now we have a lot of quality lasers. In the past, those lasers were destructive, but nowadays we have better lasers, so it's applicable to all types of skins. And what's the interval between your treatment of laser? And depends on the intensity of your laser. Usually when it's applied on your face, usually you have skincare products. You apply it every day. But for laser, it's twice a week. And for facial, it's twice a week. And because of the for laser, it's usually 2 to 4 weeks. For the same service, all these treatments you mentioned, would there be different effects if you use different machines produced by different makers? Well, it's just like your smartphone. You have different functions when it's made by different makers. But for non-invasive treatments, because it's because of its safety and because of strict laws in Taiwan, so all these machines, they have been certified and they have been approved. So a lot of overseas people come to Taiwan because they've been using the same machine, but in Taiwan the effect is better, and obviously our doctors are more skillful. So right now, what's the most effective non-invasive aesthetic treatment? Well, I think plastic surgery, we are fighting them for business. We are using ultrasound or thermage for lifting effect. So from the surface of your skin, it reaches down. Even though it's non-invasive, the effect reaches down to the muscular level. So I think everyone pursues beauty, right? So the pursuit of beauty is a lifelong business. And I think you don't get addicted to it, but because you feel the benefit, and obviously that's why you come back for more. And it doesn't mean that you cannot live without it, or you stop and you will age faster. Actually, no. If you take care of your skin, it's going to slow down the process. So for aesthetic medicines, it's going to slow down the aging process. Okay, one last part. One last question. If our audience go to your clinic, will they get discount? Yes, if you come from abroad, our government subsidize you. Okay, our government will subsidize you. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so now we are going to have the lightning round with Dr. Chen. Okay, so what's the preparation for your orthognathic surgery? First of all, your mentality. And second, you need to prepare the money. And also, you have to prepare your body for it. For example, as I mentioned, Dr. Wu said, you need to sleep well, you need to exercise, so that you will be able to endure the whole treatment. So you have to prepare your body, prepare your mind, and prepare your money. How long and how much? Usually the surgery is about 5 to 6 hours, and you need to be hospitalized for 2 to 3 days. And then during recovery, you need to wait until about a week to be able to drink liquid without problem. And after a month, you can eat normally. And cost-wise, I think it's 320 to 350,000 NT dollars. That's for hospitalization, and then you have the surgery. That's another $200,000. You need to be over the age of 18, but we don't recommend this procedure to older people, because if you're over 30, because people recognize your face, and then if you suddenly reconstruct your face, people will not recognize you. But then if you have a big problem, obviously you need it. For example, you can't breathe, you can't chew, So functionally speaking, you need this reconstruction, then obviously we still do this surgery for people who are 40 or 50 years old. And what are some of these side effects? Well, some people feel numb in their chin for a week up to a few months. And obviously, you have inflammation because these are, after all, wounds on your face. And because you have reduced immunity from lack of sleeping. So we put strong emphasis on quality sleep during this period of recovery. Okay, so is it more expensive in the hospital, being done in the hospital? Well, it's a huge procedure, so I think it's equally expensive whether you do it in a clinic or in a hospital. I mean, Taiwan, because we pay tax, we pay universal insurance, health insurance, and if you come from abroad, obviously the price is 1.7 times more, so it's more expensive. Right now, you are the international authority when it comes to this procedure. So if people want you to operate on them, do they have to line up? Would it be more expensive? Actually, before they had to line up, but nowadays they don't have to line up because we have at least 6 capable doctors in Taiwan in my hospital, so you don't have to line up anymore. Okay, once again, thank you, our 2 doctors. Now we're moving into the Q&A session. I think we have a lot of questions from our audience online. So let me choose 2 questions first and ask our 2 doctors. So the first question. Right now we have good doctors, bad doctors, or good clinics. So how do we choose a quality or a quality doctor, a quality clinic? Okay, Dr. Wu. Well, usually plastic surgery, people tend to go to bigger hospitals. So you should be. And you don't really have to worry about it because they go through accreditation many times. As for clinics, for aesthetic medicines, you need to look for professional certificates and license. In Taiwan, we have dermatologists. We have some of the plastic surgeon clinics. You need to see their license and certification, and you have to check. You have to see if the person in the picture on the certificate is really the doctor. And second, don't look for discount. Don't look for discount. You need full transparency of pricing, and you don't want discount. Because nowadays we have all these online media, people tend to know the price range. And if this clinic give you big discount, it means they don't have enough patients. And also, you can go check out online reviews. And if you have this clinic with lots of bad reviews, then obviously steer clear of them. So, and then obviously, if this is a really good doctor, they get always all these positive reviews. As for plastic surgery, in addition to hospital, I think we have some doctors, they have their own clinic. And a few years ago, we at the Ministry of Health and Welfare, we been discussing on some of the limitations and restrictions and laws governing these clinics, because in China we had lots of these practicing doctors operating on people in their own clinic with contouring procedures, but it resulted in some disputes. So in Taiwan, we've actually discussed about this. But then after all, you need a specialist. Even if you're in a clinic and you are going under knife, you look for a specialist, and you don't want discount. You don't want discount. That's quite dangerous. Just the regular price range. I think you can Google that online. Okay, so another online question. So if I have all this wrinkled skin, I have laugh lines, what's the best option for me in terms of aesthetic medicine? And also for wrinkled neck, is it possible to improve my skin condition? Yes, of course. We can. Nowadays, we have ultrasound, thermage. These are the 2 most popular options. And because it tightens your skin. As for the lacking parts, so you can inject some hyaluronic or Botox. It will help you to solve your problem of wrinkles and lines, fine lines. Okay, so this is another question. When I was younger, when I talk, I tend to reveal my upper teeth, but after I got older, it's my bottom teeth revealing. So is it because of my skin getting looser? Yes. Obviously, when you age, when your skin gets more wrinkled, you tend to look a little bit different. And when you smile, because when you're younger, you have a tighter upper lip. So when you smile, it tends to pull your mouth upwards, so it reveals your upper teeth. And when you get older, obviously you have receding gum, and then you have looser skin and muscle. So when you smile, it reveals your bottom teeth, so you look different. How about Dr. Wu?
Yes, the question was, let me add something. If it's not too serious, for example, just you're feeling different when you smile, just a little bit different. Maybe you can use some small cosmetic surgery. They should be fine. For example, you can narrow your lip, and then you can smile. Upward. That will change the curve of your smile. There should be a small surgery, or actually you can resort to the ultrasound or thermage. And if you really want huge lifting, there will be a big surgery. And actually, in cosmetic surgery, we have inline lifting. So yes, these procedures are powerful as well. Next question. Recently in Taiwan, I heard that the government has passed cell therapy. So my question is, for the cellular therapy for burns or scalp, what do you think? Yes, indeed. We do have a specific policy. That's a new act that you can use your own stem cell from the fat, and then you develop some new cells, and then you can compensate. You can fill up the burned cells or burns on your skin. Yes, we are looking into that. That's not possible in Taiwan. Next question. As I'm getting old, I'm seeing my collagen leaving my face, and then I am seeing these wavy wrinkles on my cheeks. So what should I do? For the wrinkles on your face, if it's fine wrinkles, we have a device, and that uses thermal power that opens up the pore of the skin, and then that means the nutrients or the injections can penetrate your skin better. For example, Botox or the growth factors, and then they will improve the fine wrinkles. Hyhowever, if it's a wrinkle from deeper shade of the skin, then you will have to fill with hyaluronic acid, and then you can use ultrasound. So what do you mean by? Yes, tick cell. Tick cell, they should be quite useful in correcting the smile wrinkle. Another question for Dr. Wu. Recently, there are always new procedures. It's really heated. Well, it's part of thermage. That's actually the name of the machine, thermage. And in China, they call it thermage. So that means the collagen in the skin are cramped, under the heat. So the skin will generate new collagen. It doesn't really burn the skin, but as the devices evolve, I would say the latest generation, they have new design. For example, you can there are new setting for the time, and then for the heat wave, etc. And it's quite time limited. It's so advanced, but it can be used for once. And then we have the fourth generation thermage, we call Phoenix thermage. It's more powerful, but actually it's more painful if compared to the third generation. So we have to really deal with the pain sensation. So you have to have pain control. So if you can control the pain, actually it's quite powerful. But if you ask me whether it's barbecue or not, I wouldn't say so. So that's a really thermic tip. So the tip, actually, there will be a cooling there's a cooling ingredient. So at the same time, it's working in a deeper layer of the skin, but at the same time, the cooling ingredients can cool down the surface. So I would say pay attention to this tip. These tips can be only used once. If you repeatedly use these tips, it would be easier for the patient to get burned. My next question is about the spots, the sunspots. How can I prevent sunspots? How can I take better skin care to prevent spots from coming up in my skin? Well, for any skin pigmentation, most of the time it comes from the outer world. For example, over sun exposure since your younger age all the way till now. So if you want to make sure the spots or the pigmentation doesn't come again, that means we need to destroy all the pigmented cell in your skin. I would say it's never once and for all. I would say for each laser treatment, the effect may last 5 years at most, but you do have to take extra care of, for example, UV barrier, for example, wearing long sleeve or using umbrella, so you have to take extra care in your lifestyle. So it's not just about once and for all. Yes, indeed, this episode is a fruitful discussion, and we're very honored to have these two experienced doctors to introduce to us the latest development and trends in plastic surgery and in aesthetic medicine in Taiwan. And if you have any question, feel free to leave online, and we will forward the questions to the doctors, and you will be answered. In the future, our coming episodes, James on Air, we will focus more on medicine, and let us promote made in Taiwan products and also the medical advancement in Taiwan, well known to the world. So you will be beautiful and healthy inside out, outside in, and you can enjoy all. So thank you for watching, thank you for your attention, and again, thank you Dr. Wu and Dr. Chen. See you next time.
谢谢，今天真的非常难得能够一次把两位这个天王级的医师请到节目来，谢谢给我们这个机会。
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
到朱医师的时候，就是我们说他对于皮肤研究、免疫研究是非。
Dr. Wu has been very curious and dedicated in skin immunity since